Hello there. In this video I'm going to show you how you can create your own personalized design using FluidDesigner for 3D printing, and I'm going to create a design similar to the one in the top left hand corner there. So in FluidDesigner, that's kind of what we're going to recreate. So if I just do File and New, and I'll just switch on screencast keys. Alright, so the first thing to do is to go to the object library and get a lighting frame. And I'm going to use the cube frame, so it's this object here, 301, and if I click outside the yellow box it will actually center it, which is quite important. And I'm just going to switch off the grid floor. Okay, so that's our basic cube. Now it's got a cross-section diameter of 5 millimeters, so it's circular this. Now if you want to change that, you can delete that, and using the object library we can create a Bevel Objects, and I'm going to use a cross-section rectangular bevel object, and so click OK, click outside the box, and for this one I'm going to click in the name up there and type frame so that I know which object I'm dealing with here, and I'm going to make it 4 millimeters by 4 millimeters and apply the scale. So if I now select my cube, if I select the frame cross-section rectangular bevel object, that's now square in cross-section rather than rounded. So that's how you can change that. Now if I now go to View and Top View, and just close the Properties panel there, if I go to the library again, now I'm going to use some heart patterns here to put on one of the faces, and in fact I'm going to use two heart patterns. So I'm going to use number 15, so we click OK, click outside the box, it will center it, and I'm going to use number 13 as well, so click OK and click outside the box. And if I just zoom in now and open up the Properties panel, both of these heart objects have got the same bevel object 1x2, but we could change that. And what I want to do is I want to just rotate that one slightly, so I'm just changing the Z value. If I just switch off snap and G to grab, I can reposition that heart, so you can just modify that until you get a design that suits your eye. And then if I hold down the shift key and highlight both objects and go to Tools, Object Tools and Join, I will now have one object there. Right, now what I want to do is to put it onto one of these frames. So first of all, if I rotate it about the x-axis 90 degrees, what I could then do is to move it over here to put it there somewhere. Now I need to go to View and Top View and just zoom in, and we want to position it. I should have perhaps had the snap, well I've left the snap off, so I just want to position it in the center there now. Okay, so that looks alright to me. And what we now need to do is to scale this up so that it fits in that front face. Now you must scale in edit mode, so press the tab key on the keyboard to go into edit mode, press A on the keyboard to select all the control points, and S to scale, and then if you just pull it out, you need to get it so that it's roughly fitting there. And then if we go to View and Front View, if we zoom in at the bottom here, press A on the keyboard to deselect all those control points. Now if I just highlight those two control points there, I can move that up. Okay, it's not sticking out at that side, so I'm okay from on that side by the look of it. Now I might want to move a couple of control points up at the top here, so I can just move that one up so that it's overlapping, so I've got a more firm fixture at the top there, and I can just pull that control point up there, and that looks okay on the left. So you do need to go around and make sure it's all overlapping. So that's how easy it is to join a couple of objects together and to fit them on the frame there. Now if we wanted to change the thickness of this, we could delete that bevel object and highlight 3D templates bevel objects, and we could select the rectangular one again and click OK, and then click outside the box. And I would tend to sort of go to the front of this and name it as hearts, if that's the one that I'm going to apply it to. And we could say 2 millimeters by 2 millimeters and apply the scale. And if we select the hearts now and go to hearts cross sections, you can see I can assign the thickness to those. Now if you do change the thicknesses, you do need to go around and make sure everything is still overlapping, as we've just it could change that. Alright, so you can play around with those thicknesses and get them to suit yourself there. Now obviously you can repeat that pattern on the other 3 frames, or you could use some different patterns and create your own design. Now what we also want to do then is to put some support ring and whatever at the top. But first of all, perhaps what we ought to do is to put in a light bulb just to double check how it all fits. So I'm going to use, in this instance, I'm going to use the E14 golf ball one. So select that and click outside the box, and we can just move that up until it's in roughly the right place. Now the bulb itself is the right diameter and the right length. Any fittings above that are not necessarily right. But what you need to do is to check your fitting. So if you've got a cable that's 8 millimeters, what you need to do is to go to Object Library, go to Lighting Frames, and we need a support ring at the top and a couple of support flaps. And I'm going to use the one with an 8 millimeter diameter hole in the center. So we just click OK, click outside the box. Now you won't see that because it'll be hidden by the bulb. But if we just pull it up and go to View and Front View and just zoom in on this, we want it in the center there. Okay, now we could change the size of this ring. Now at the moment it's 10 millimeters by 2. Now notice the SR at the front for support ring. It's very important that you use the right bevel object here. So what I'm going to do is go to Object Library, go to the templates cross sections, and the very first one here, it is a rectangular cross section, but it's special one for the support ring, and you'll see in a second what I mean by that. So if I click OK, click outside the box again. Now if we select the support ring and change it to this new bevel object which we've just added, okay, and then select the bevel object over here in the outliner panel, we can change the thickness of this. So the Y dimension, if I change that to 4 millimeters, you can see that that ring is much thicker now. And if I change the X value, notice that it's getting thick, it's getting wider is this ring, but the hole in the center isn't changing, and that's what's very important about this bevel object SR support ring. So select a size that you want. And then what we need is a couple of support flaps on that to hold it all together. So we go to Lighting Frames again. And we're looking not for support rings, but this object here, the support flat. And then click OK. And again, we can pull that up, go to View and Front View. Now, like all the other objects, this is also a curve. So we could change the cross section of this by applying a bevel object, a cross-rectangular bevel object. But more importantly for this is you must make sure that it's fitting properly. So I would go to wireframe, make sure that to the left here it's about halfway into the frame, and make sure that it's going well into the ring at the center there. Depending upon the size of the ring, that may or may not fit. Now once you're happy with that one, if you just go to Tools, Object Tools, and duplicate it, you can put a duplicate on the other side, and again go to View, Top View, Wireframe, just zoom in on it and make sure that it's positioned right. There may be times when you need to lengthen or shorten this, so you can go into edit mode with the tab key and you can lengthen or shorten it. Not in this case because I've actually made the ring quite big. Alright, so that's how you can actually create that. Now in terms of a finished object, once you've added in all the other frames there, you export it to as an OBJ, run it through NetFab and get it 3D printed. You could then put some Japanese rice paper on the inside of this once you get it back from the printers. So that's how you can create your own personalized object there. Thank you for watching.